Video games. A beautiful entertainment medium crafted by a group of passionate people, known for providing countless hours of fun in exchange for failing grades in school. This artificial dopamine booster took the world by storm during the 1980s, and as time passed, the industry only grew larger and larger. Today, the video game industry is a money printing machine that managed to spread all over the globe, including Eastern Europe. The game development scene in Eastern Europe has a distinctive history shaped by political shifts, economic hardships, and totalitarian regimes. Video games did not align with socialist values, being that, they were produced by the decadent capitalists of the West and were seen as a waste of time, which hindered their initial popularity. Add to that the harsh living conditions in Eastern Europe during the 80s and 90s, and it has become clear why most people prioritize survival over entertainment. For the few enthusiasts who were passionate about gaming, obtaining a console or PC was anything but simple. Trade restrictions on Western entertainment meant that most had to rely on smuggling or purchasing gaming systems from the so-called black market. In reality, these were just regular flea markets that specialized in gaming-related goods, offering everything from bootleg arcade machines and DIY clone consoles to pirated games. With no legal distributions or piracy laws in place, these markets attracted a loyal base of hobbyists enticed by affordable prices. Flea markets remained the primary source for gaming hardware and software until the fall of the Soviet Union. The breakup of the USSR opened Eastern Europe and post-Soviet countries to international trade, gradually rendering these underground markets obsolete. The general populace could now purchase brand new consoles legally, and the access to new technology paved the way for the rise of local game development studios like Amanita Design and GSC Game World. These newly established developers, while highly creative and motivated, were years behind their Western counterparts in terms of industry experience and resources. To compete, they relied on innovation, carving out a unique identity. Unlike mainstream Western games, which often romanticized foreign lands, Eastern European developers drew inspiration from their own culture, history, and personal experiences. Their games incorporated elements of folklore and mythology, crafting stories that were dark, unapologetic, and deeply rooted in themes of survival. A recurring motif in these games is the struggle against overwhelming odds. Eastern European developers excel at portraying bleak, oppressive worlds where hope is scarce and perseverance is key. The difficulty of their gameplay often mirrors this theme, reinforcing the idea that success requires resilience, strategy, and skill. This pain simulator approach to storytelling comes naturally to Eastern European creators, whose history is marked by war, famine, corruption, and poverty. If they ever run out of personal hardship to draw from, they can always find inspiration in the works of Dostoevsky and other literary giants from the region, whose books, instead of a cliffhanger, leave you with a gun in your mouth. Beyond their focus on grim realism, Eastern European games also emphasize logic, problem-solving, and skill-based challenges. This tradition can be traced back to Soviet and Yugoslav educational methods, which heavily promoted chess as a tool for developing critical thinking. Early computer programs reflected this mindset, with many of the first Eastern European-made games being math-solving applications designed to sharpen mental agility. However, amongst these functional tools, one influential gaming giant would soon emerge that would take the world by storm. This is a game that needs no introduction. A timeless masterpiece. It has not only withstood the test of time, but has also had a profound and lasting impact on the gaming industry as a whole. Originally developed in 1984 by Soviet computer engineer Alexei Paitunov, Tetris is deceptively simple in its premise. Players must rearrange geometric shapes to form complete rows. However, beneath its straightforward mechanics lies an extraordinary depth. The game offers an accessible experience while boasting a high skill ceiling, rewarding players who dedicate time to mastering it. Beyond its gameplay, Tetris was a pioneer in foundational game design principles that continue to shape the industry today, such as mass appeal, progressive difficulty scaling, and the concept of flow state gaming. Mass appeal in particular was a crucial factor in Tetris' success. With no language or cultural barriers, no violence, and no mature content, Tetris was a game that could be enjoyed by players of all ages and cultures. This universal accessibility caught the attention of Nintendo, which acquired the rights to distribute Tetris on its Game Boy console. This move cemented Tetris as a household name and one of the most recognizable games in history. The game's progressive difficulty scaling forces players to think quickly and make rapid decisions, naturally leading to the flow state phenomenon. Many players have described the experience of becoming so immersed in Tetris that they lose track of time, completely absorbed in the game's rhythm and pace. This engaging, almost meditative quality is part of what makes Tetris so addicting. Interestingly, Tetris's hypnotic nature has also been linked to real-world medical benefits. Research from the Karolinska Institute and Oxford University suggests that playing Tetris may help prevent the development of PTSD. Participants who played the game after recalling traumatic experiences found it harder to relive those flashbacks later, indicating that Tetris might interfere with the brain's ability to solidify distressing memories. Beyond its impact on casual gaming and mental health, Tetris has also left its mark on the world of esports. While it may not be the first title that comes to mind when discussing competitive gaming, Tetris has a thriving competitive scene with tournaments that showcase the incredible skill ceiling the game offers. Events such as the classic Tetris World Championship have gained widespread recognition, drawing elite players who demonstrate lightning-fast reaction times, advanced stacking strategies, and rapid decision-making. This rise of competitive Tetris has not only proven the game's depth, but has also inspired a new generation of players to push its mechanics to their limits. Tetris's impact on the greater gaming scene is immeasurable. It managed to pioneer key game design principles, develop a rewarding gameplay experience, and become a worldwide phenomenon, all the while fulfilling the USSR's requirements on censorship. Tetris is an ever-evolving cultural and entertainment miracle that blends simplicity with depth, and continues to be the most influential game ever developed by Slavic developers. Because of which, you can find Tetris all over the internet, free to play. But be careful, some websites you might try to play on might not be so safe without using NordVPN, baby! Like a good neighbor, Nord is always here, but instead of giving you a home-baked pie upon moving into the neighborhood, Nord gives you safety whilst browsing the internet. With the development of penicillin, we were able to make tuberculosis irrelevant. And with the development of Nord, computer viruses and pop-ups are a thing of the past. In addition to that, Nord also, like a good VPN, hides your IP address, stops dumb web trackers, and protects your privacy. But unlike those beta weak-chinned VPNs, Nord, being the GigaChad Sigma VPN it is, doesn't even need a VPN connection to work. And while browsing, Nord also monitors the web for your data and alerts you immediately if it detects a leak. So, with Nord, you can easily browse the web anywhere in the world, watch your favorite geolocked show, or those Chinese cartoons with oversized eyes, and not worry about your credit card and picture of your house being posted online for everyone to see. So, don't waste any time and go to my link in the description at nordvpn.com/ironicallyvpn and get your exclusive NordVPN deal. Plus, 4 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Taking a step back from brain-stimulating puzzle games that Eastern Europeans are fond of, we turn our attention to the quintessential genre most commonly associated with Slavic games, the Eastern European Paint Simulator. These are games known for their punishing difficulty, bleak atmosphere, and unrelenting realism, and few titles embody this philosophy better than Stalker. Everything about this game, whether it's the concept art, haunting cover designs, or raw gameplay, immediately signals that it was crafted by Slavs with a purpose. To showcase the tragedy and horrors of a nuclear disaster spiraling even further out of control. But it doesn't stop there. The game injects a dose of post-apocalyptic fantasy, introducing elements that heighten both the challenge and mystery. Much like The Witcher and other games emerging from Eastern Europe, Stalker places a strong emphasis on player freedom, immersion, and most importantly, atmosphere. Unlike many open world games, Stalker doesn't hold your hand. There's no omnipotent figure dictating the rules of the wasteland. Your primary mission? Track down and eliminate a mysterious man known as the Strelok. Strelok is more myth than man, an elusive figure whose reputation precedes him. He is said to be one of the few who managed to reach the center of the zone, the perilous and mutated wasteland born from the Chernobyl disaster, and live to tell the tale. As you pursue him, you'll have to scavenge for supplies, piece together fragments of information, and battle both monstrous abominations and desperate survivors who are just as ruthless as the environment itself. The gunplay is where Stalker separates itself from more traditional shooters, and for better or worse, it doesn't hold back. The combat is brutal, punishing, and deeply immersive. A well-placed bullet, whether from you or your enemy, can mean instant death. Even if you have precise aim, the game's unpredictable bullet spread and weapon degradation make every gunfight a gamble. It's the kind of game where you might end up screaming at your screen after an unseen sniper sends you back to your last save. But this isn't Call of Duty, and it isn't supposed to be. The harsh gun mechanics force players to think tactically, carefully considering every engagement instead of running in guns blazing. Avoiding combat isn't always an option. The zone is merciless, and survival often demands bloodshed. You'll frequently be forced to make difficult choices. Do you stick with a powerful but nearly empty rifle, or swap it for a weaker gun with more ammunition? These kinds of split-second decisions reinforce the game's semi-open-ended approach, ensuring that no two playthroughs feel exactly the same. Much like its gameplay, the story isn't rigidly linear either. While you do need to complete the main storyline, Stalker offers plenty of freedom to explore, take on side objectives, and stumble into dynamic, unscripted encounters that keep you on edge. Every action you take has consequences, and major decisions can even alter the game's ending. This level of agency, combined with the game's unpredictable world, ensure that players feel like they are truly surviving in the zone rather than just following a predetermined path. Beyond its punishing difficulty and immersive gameplay, Stalker stands out in the gaming landscape for a number of reasons. First, it pioneered a unique blend of FPS, RPG, and survival horror elements long before survival games became a mainstream genre. The game's dynamic life system, which governs NPC behavior and creates emergent events, makes the world feel alive even when you're not actively engaged in combat. It also helped to define the Eastern European paint simulator genre, a term used affectionately by fans to describe games from the region that embrace realism, bleak atmospheres, and merciless difficulty curves. Games like Escape from Tarkov, Metro 2033, and even DayZ owe a lot to Stalker's legacy. And while Stalker never reached mainstream blockbuster status, its impact on gaming culture is undeniable. Its cult following remains one of the most dedicated in the industry, with fans keeping the game alive through extensive modding, fan-made expansions, and a thriving community that continues to push its boundaries. Creating a brand new genre from scratch is no easy feat, but arguably an even greater challenge is breathing new life into a genre that has long been exhausted. Zombie stories often fall into predictable patterns, with many struggling to differentiate themselves from existing works. However, the Polish studio Techland defied the odds with Dying Light, a game that embraces the familiar tropes of the zombie genre while delivering a fresh, one-of-a-kind experience. At the heart of Dying Light is Kyle Crane, an undercover operative sent into the quarantine city of Haran to retrieve sensitive documents that could determine the fate of the outbreak. On the surface, his mission is straightforward, but the deeper he delves into the city's ruins, the more tangled his morality becomes. Crane finds himself torn between completing his assignment and aiding the desperate survivors who rely on him. However, Crane's mission becomes far more personal when he discovers he has been infected. What started as a race to complete his assignment soon turns into a desperate fight for his own survival. As the virus slowly takes hold, he is forced to confront not just the relentless hordes of undead, but also the terrifying reality that he may soon become one of them. The game's defining feature is its fluid parkour system, which allows players to scale rooftops, leap across ledges, and use verticality as a means of both traversal and survival. This movement-based gameplay isn't just for show, it plays a crucial role in evading danger, especially during nighttime. The skill tree complements this by allowing players to upgrade their parkour abilities, combat techniques, and survival instincts. As Crane gains experience, he becomes more adept at crafting weapons, enhancing his agility, and executing deadly melee attacks against both human enemies and the undead. But Dying Light is more than just a parkour-driven zombie brawler. It is a game of duality. By day, players scavenge for resources, craft weapons, and fight off slow-moving infected. But once the sun sets, the game transforms into a terrifying survival horror experience. This shift in tone is driven by the volatilities, Techland's horrifying evolution of the traditional alpha zombie. These grotesque, hyper-aggressive creatures are faster, stronger, and far deadlier than their shambling counterparts. They don't just lurk in the dark, they hunt in packs, relentlessly chasing down anything that moves. Their blood-curdling screeches pierce the silence, signaling that you are being stalked. The only way to survive is to outmaneuver them using your enhanced parkour skills and seek refuge in safe zones batched in UV light, their only weakness. While the infected are relentless, they are, at their core, driven by nothing more than primal instinct, the need to feed. They do not plot, manipulate, or revel in cruelty. But in a world where survival should unite people, it instead exposes the worst in them. The real monsters aren't always the ones with rotting flesh. Sometimes they are the ones who still have their humanity. This is where Race comes in, a warlord thriving in the chaos and the main antagonist. He rules through fear, bending others to his will, not because they believe in him, but because they have no better choice. In a time when cooperation could mean salvation, Rice instead chooses to impose his twisted ideology, exploiting the weak and punishing those who dare defy him. Unlike Crane, who clings to his fading morality, Rice has abandoned his completely, proving that in an apocalypse, it is not the undead you should fear most. It's those who still breathe. In the end, Dying Light isn't just another zombie game. It is a masterclass in blending survival horror, action, and immersive storytelling. It challenges players to adapt, evolve, and confront the true horrors of an apocalyptic world where good and evil are fading concepts. Eastern European developers have proven their ability not only to craft original stories, but also to pay homage to other works of art, immaculately adapting them into games. Nowhere is this more evident than the adaptation of Andrzej Sapkowski's The Witcher book series. The first Witcher game was a modest start, hindered by limited resources, but it laid the foundation for something greater. It wasn't until The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings that CDPR truly found their footing. By securing a deal with Microsoft, they were able to expand the game's reach and lay the groundwork for The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, which would become a defining moment in both CDPR's legacy and the RPG genre as a whole. What sets Witcher 3 apart from the open world games is its integration of Slavic mythology and often unexplored treasure trove of eerie legend, creatures, and ancient beliefs. Rather than relying on the familiar tropes of Western fantasy, CDPR chose to delve into the rich cultural heritage of Eastern Europe, bringing to life a world that feels not only immersive, but deeply grounded in real-world mythology. In Slavic folklore, the line between the supernatural and the human is often blurred, and this duality permeates The Witcher 3. The Wild Hunt, the primary antagonist force in the game, draws directly from ancient Slavic and Germanic legends of a spectacular army that rides across the sky, heralding doom. In some traditions, the Wild Hunt is a group of lost souls, condemned to roam the earth forever, and their appearance is a harbinger of death. The Witcher 3 takes this haunting vision and amplifies it, using the Wild Hunt as a powerful force that hunts not only for souls, but for a way to conquer the world itself. The eerie glow of their riders and their overworldly presence encapsulates the ominous dread that Slavic folklore has long associated with death and fate. Then there are the crones of Crookback Bog, whose distributing figures are inspired by Baba Yaga, one of the most iconic figures in Slavic myth. Baba Yaga is a fearsome ancient witch who lives in a hut that stands on chicken legs, a creature both nurturing and terrifying, capable of both helping and hindering those who seek her out. The crones in The Witcher 3 embody the darker aspects of Baba Yaga. They are cunning, manipulative, and delight in cruelty, luring travelers to their doom in the same way that the Slavic myth warns of venturing too close to the unknown. Their grotesque appearance and sinister motifs capture the essence of this terrifying figure, proving that not all folklore is meant to comfort. Other creatures in the game are deeply rooted in Slavic myth. The Leshen, a forest spirit who rules over the woods, is another mythological creature inspired by Slavic traditions. In folklore, the Leshen is a protector of the forest, a guardian who punishes those who desecrate nature. The Witcher 3 takes this figure and turns it into a deadly enemy, a forest deity who will stop at nothing to defend its domain from intruders. This duality of protector and predator is a common theme in Slavic mythology, where nature is both revered and feared. The game also features real-world pagan rituals that have been woven into the narrative. One such example is Jadi, an ancient Slavic tradition where people honor their ancestors by performing rites to summon their spirits. In The Witcher 3, this ritual is a key part of a side quest, where Geralt is asked to participate in a ceremony meant to contact the dead. This representation of Jadi is both respectful and haunting, capturing the spiritual connection to ancestors that was deeply ingrained in Slavic culture. It serves as a reminder of the importance of the past in shaping the present, a theme that resonates throughout the game, especially in Geralt's own troubled history. Beyond the creatures and rituals, The Witcher 3 incorporates Slavic mythology in more subtle ways, particularly through its world design and the music. The architecture of the village, the sprawling forests, and the eerie swamps are all inspired by the landscapes of Eastern Europe. The game's environments evoke a sense of nostalgia for the medieval period, with the looming presence of ancient ruins and crumbling castles. These landscapes are not just backdrops, they are living, breathing testaments to a rich cultural history, much of which has been lost to time. In terms of music, the folk songs embedded in the game, such as Naranča from Croatia, Gusta mi magla, Padnala from Serbia, are more than just background tracks. They are integral to the atmosphere, infusing the world with a deep sense of Slavic heritage. These songs, many of which date back centuries, capture the spirit of a bygone era, invoking a connection to the past that is central to The Witcher 3's themes. At the heart of the game stands Geralt of Rivia, a character deeply influenced by his world's complex moral landscape. Geralt's journey is shaped by his encounters with the mythical and the human, where he constantly wrestles with what it means to be a monster in a world filled with both literal and metaphorical beasts. Unlike the creatures he hunts, Geralt is not a mindless killer, and his actions are dictated not just by his code as a witcher, but by a personal set of values that often conflict with the world around him. Geralt is frequently forced to confront the gray areas of morality, where the lines between right and wrong are blurred. In a world filled with corruption, deceit, and moral ambiguity, Geralt becomes a reluctant hero, choosing his battles wisely and deciding often painfully who is worthy of his protection. The Witcher 3 is not only a love letter to Slavic culture, but it is also a mediation on morality and fate in a world where the concept of good is often subjective. Geralt as a character embodies this tension, representing both the ancient mythological hero and the cynical, pragmatic man hardened by experience. The monsters he faces are not just physical, they represent the darker forces in humanity, forces that Geralt must confront and often become entangled with. Ultimately, The Witcher 3 has become a shining example of how video games can be used to explore cultural myths and traditions in a meaningful way. It's a game that not only entertains, but also educates, revealing the depth of Eastern European folklore and challenging players to examine the complexity of morality in a world bereft of clear answers. Eastern European game development stands as a testament to creativity born from the absence of tranquility. While constrained by limited resources and economic hardships, developers in the region turned these obstacles into opportunities, forging a unique identity in the gaming industry. Their works often emphasize realism, deep narratives, and immersive atmospheres, setting them apart from their Western counterparts. Moreover, the cultural and historical influences of the region have played a crucial role in shaping the storytelling and mechanics of these games. Many titles reflect themes of survival, moral dilemmas, and the impact of oppressive regimes, resonating with players worldwide. The region's developers have demonstrated an ability to craft engaging, thought-provoking experiences that challenge conventional gaming norms. However, no list would be complete without acknowledging some standout titles that, while not the main focus here, deserve recognition for their contributions to gaming. Metro series, inspired by Dmitry Glukovsky's novels, the Metro series delivers a masterclass in atmosphere, blending survival horror, immersive storytelling, and tactical combat. Its haunting depictions of post-apocalyptic Russia, combined with resource-scarce and moral choices, make it a standout in the FPS genre. Factorio, for those who love optimization and problem-solving, Factorio offers a near-endless depth of complexity, tasking players with building and managing vast automated factories. The game perfectly balances logistics, automation, and engineering, making it an addicting challenge for those who enjoy efficiency and creativity. Kingdom Come Deliverance, a game that dares to prioritize historical accuracy over fantasy. Kingdom Come Deliverance provides one of the most realistic medieval RPG experiences available. Its combat system, attention to detail, and commitment to realism make it a must-play for those seeking a deep and immersive historical adventure. The impact of Eastern European game development extends far beyond a single genre or title. From the cerebral simplicity of Tetris to the grueling realism of Stalker and the dynamic horror of Dying Light, these games reflect the distinct identity and heritage of the region. They challenge players with intricate mechanics, immerse them in hauntingly authentic worlds, and leave a lasting impression through their storytelling. As Eastern European studios continue to grow, they maintain their distinctive creative approach while embracing modern advancements. Their success is a testament to those brilliance born from trials and tribulations, proving that limitations are the ultimate source of creativity. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button, and if you really did, become a member like these wonderful people. My name is Janusz, and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Hey, hey, why